everybody, welcome back to a server tour of SouthLake. So I actually got done recording this video, but then I found out the capture failed. I don't know why, but it did. So basically we're gonna fly over here. I will tell you guys the subscriber of the week, just because like I said, I already added it, but since it failed, it didn't save it really. So basically I'm just gonna tell you guys the name. So we're gonna fly over here, wee, back to the stadium. And it should be right over here, the very first one, or second one. It was Roberto Tecum was the subscriber of the week for this video, guys. So Roberto, thank you very much for watching my videos, bud. It's awesome that you do. Thank you very much. So today we are doing a server tour, mainly because we're on episode number 40. I want to try to do a server tour every 10 parts so you guys can kind of see how far the city's come over 10 parts and like where we started and then where we ended. So basically, one of the newest parts of the server is over here by the park. Now I'm pretty sure the park was not here in the past 10 parts. So over here is basically all brand new from the past 10 parts really. Because mainly the park is one of the big focal points of the server. Mainly because of just of its surroundings. A park is a big part of a city in my opinion. It kind of adds more color. You know, a place where people can hang out after work or take a break. So I feel like a park is actually a very important thing you want to have in a actual city itself, and really its surroundings kind of show. I went like right over here with these row buildings. I tried to go for more of a older style, try to make it look like this the city had more history, so I tried going for that. But then I like that over on the other side and surrounding the park you have more of these big skyscrapers surrounding it. I like that because it kind of gives it again more character. I like that you have row buildings over here, but then you kind of have skyscrapers all around surrounding it. Now, speaking of skyscrapers, right here is basically all brand new. So these have been here just like from the last 2 parts. So this building is going to be more of a government building, along with that one over there, which we will get to. But right here, these 2 buildings right here are brand spanking new. So this one we actually worked on the last part, if you guys watched that part. And then this one we haven't worked on at all, but you guys might have seen it last part, mainly because these buildings right here are meant to be apartment buildings, mainly because I want to make it to where there's actually more places for people to live. Because right now the city's more just, you know, office buildings, things like that, but there's not really too many apartment buildings and things like that where people could actually live. Now again, we're not to the residential area yet, which we will at some point, but just we're not there yet, because we still have a lot more to do on this side of this of the city. So I really wanted to add more apartment buildings in the actual city itself. So you're going to see a lot more of those popping up around the town and around the city itself. You're also going to see more garage parking, things like that pop up, mainly because of the fact that, you know, people need a place to park. So for realism, I'm going to add more of those. Over here is pretty new as well. I know this was maybe here, maybe the past 3 to 4 parts, is the new museum. And I'm actually really happy with how the museum has really turned out. It actually feels like it would be a museum just because of how it looks. And it feels like it would be a museum. And I think a lot of that is the courts and how clean it looks. But also the big pillar design here on the front really makes it stand out as well. The museum will actually be one of the very first buildings that will have interior put into it. I'm not sure how, like exactly what I'm going to do yet, but it will be there at some point. And if we do hit these, boop, it actually lowers the barriers over here, which I wanted to add those there for more realism. So like if there ever was somebody trying to steal any artwork or anything like that, you can kind of close those. And I don't know, I feel like it'd be pretty cool to have them. Right here we have a bank. Now the bank is not complete yet. The actual shell is, but not the actual like windows or anything like that. But I actually might start going back and taking care of some of these buildings now that we have stained glass, which will actually improve how some of these buildings look. So over here is basically pretty brand new. This building here I believe is new as well. I'm not sure if I want to make this one a actual office building or a hospital, because I don't know, for some reason it feels like a hospital. I'm not sure why. I think it's the window design and just how it looks and flows from one window to the other. So again, I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet, but I'm leaning more towards office building to an extent, just because of the size of it. I feel like a hospital would need to be bigger, and if I did want to make it a hospital, I could expand it all the way over here if I wanted to, and add like parking garages and things like that attaching to it. Over here is not really all too new. I'm not sure if it was here in the last 10 parts. I know these were, but I'm not sure about some of these buildings over here. Because over here is actually one of my favorite parts of the city. Because I want to make it over here to where you're going to have a lot more smaller buildings incorporated into like row houses and things like this. Mainly because I feel like cities, since they're so compact, you do need to have a lot of row buildings. And just things like that, they add more character and, you know, character to the actual city itself. I couldn't think of a better word to use for it. But right here is actually one of my favorite buildings. I don't know why. It's just there's something about it that makes it kind of stand out and look like really fancy. Like fancy. So I'm not sure why I like it so much. It's just one of my favorite buildings. But you're going to see a lot more row buildings popping up over here. As for the highway, I think the highway is pretty new as well. I'm not sure if it was here in the last 10 parts. Like mainly over here, I'm not too sure if it was in the past 10 parts or not. So I'm just going to go over everything anyways. But eventually, I'm not sure if I want the highway to turn and connect with that one. Or if I'm not sure if I want this one just to go up and overpass this highway over here. Because I'm also not sure if I want to add like a beach over here to start the ocean. Because the ocean would take a very long time. I'm just not sure if I want to do that yet. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. I think that's just about it for like the brand new stuff. But we're still going to go look at some of the older stuff, mainly because I want you guys to see, you know, if you didn't watch episode 30 for the last tour, you know, basically the tour is so I can show you guys everything. So one of my favorite views of the actual city itself is probably right here, just across the highway. There's something about it to where you can see so many different buildings. Also, I'm sorry if you guys could hear that. I hit my hand on the desk. But you can just see so many different buildings here, and it kind of feels realistic from this view to me. I'm not sure why. There's something about it that makes it look better. And I just like that you can see so much. You can see a helicopter up there, a plane. A lot of people have been asking about an airport, like when I'm going to add one. You're not going to see an airport pop up for a very long time on the city. Mainly because there needs to be a lot of space for it. I mean, just over here, there's not enough space. Because the actual airport itself is going to be huge. Basically, imagine it would take up probably almost all of this space over here on the other side of the river. That's how big we're talking about. And speaking about over here, the stadium, which you guys are pretty familiar with because every time we have a SouthLake video, we go over here and do a subscriber of the week, which is actually one of my favorite things to do now. But I'm pretty sure the stadium is one of the brand new things from the past 10 parts. And there's a good reason for it, is because so many people like the stadium, and I'm happy you guys do. But I also love it myself, and because baseball stadiums are actually really hard to make in Minecraft, mainly because they're not just, you know, straight lines. There's a lot more curves and everything added into it, so it does take more time. But I think one of my favorite parts is just how it fits in with its surroundings. It looks like it's meant to be here. It fits perfectly. I love how the highways are next to it, so you can see the bridge in the background. You know, I love the size of the stadium itself. It feels realistic, like it's actually an actual stadium. So, there's actually, out of all of my favorite builds, the stadium's probably one of my favorite things. Just because it took a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of, you know, messing up to figure out a right design for it. But I think it really kind of paid off for how everything looks. And I'm just really happy with it. It's easily probably my favorite build on the city so far. So again, really proud of it. If you want to know how to make the field, it's basically just using, what am I thinking of? I can't think of any words. It's using brown carpet, and if you want to know how I got the lines, that's actually why I used carpet. It's because these are signs underneath the carpet. So it kind of makes the lines. So it was really simple. It's just one of those small touches I wanted to do. But really, that's just about it for the actual city itself. I mean, if you want to realize how far the city has come over the past year, this right here was the very, very first building added on to the city. And if we look at the map now, this is how much the map has really progressed over time. You can kind of see like where everything's starting to kind of go off the map a little bit, because we're actually starting to get to the point where it's almost time to start expanding again. So I'm actually really excited to start expanding again. It will take more time to do it, but we're so close to actually becoming done with the actual city over here itself. and we're going to be able to start working on the residential areas and things like that. Also, this highway right here, if you're wondering like, oh no, it's going to go right underneath the building up there, it looks like it's going to interfere. Well, what I'm actually going to do is this is actually going to go underneath the river, so it's going to go down, and it's going to go underneath this building. It's basically going to be a big tunnel, and it's going to go all the way across the other side of the river, and then come up on the other side. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys like this tour. So if there's anything you guys want me to add, let me know in the comments. Again, I will add an airport at some point. You're just not going to see it for a very long time because I need the space to do it. So, bye-bye, guys. Thank you very much for watching.